From your local election headquarters, you're watching WTAJ News election coverage.
Welcome back into your local election headquarters. I'm Jordan Tracy here in the election hub, joined by Terry Tomasetti, Jack Barlow, both representing Juniata College.
That's right.
Alum and current professor as well. Were you alum as well?
No.
Okay.
Just a professor.
I thought we were going for the trifecta.
He's an import.
He's an import. So folks, we're still waiting for results to pour in. It does take a little while. It's not instant. We wish it were instant so that we were a little more, because we're all excited to see what happens.
That's right. Yep.
The first race we want to talk about tonight is that Blair County Commissioner's race. We have a Blair County current commissioner with us, with Terry Tomasetti. Right now, as you can see, no results coming in, but we talked about this a little bit in the first hit. The overall consensus is the two Republicans are most likely safe. Terry?
I think that's fair to say. I think that's a certainty. The question is going to be which Democrat wins. And it'll be interesting to see the interplay between them. Commissioner Beam is well known. He's been in office. He's an incumbent. He's also elected to city council back in the day at Altoona. He has roots here for the public school teachers and sports. Laura Burke is an attorney who came to the area when she married her husband, who's also an attorney from this area. She's had a good, quiet ground game, very good ground game. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Now, I covered this race in the primary, and I know that one of the things that Bruce Erb talked about was being someone with financial background was important to him to be on. And now I think also with you leaving, there's no attorney. Is there an attorney?
Well, you heard me say this before. I think it's essential that they have somebody from the court side on the board of commissioners. They've not had that in the past, and we've seen problems both with the courtrooms, the funding of the services, the funding of the attorneys, and the Bar Association has never stepped up to argue, and of course the courts can't, the judges can't get involved in politics. So continuing a presence from the Bar Association I think is important.
And then maybe for Professor Barlow here, you know, we saw in the primary how close the race was. It went down to the write-in and absentee votes. That's not something that is normal when we see elections.
No, but that's what happens, and that's why it's important that everybody vote, because sometimes the elections do get decided by one vote or two votes.
And you start looking through, you're trying to, this was the first time for me seeing that process. Yeah. You're pulling up the scribbles on the board, trying to determine what some people are saying with the write-ins as well. Right. Important to write legibly if you really want to vote for your candidate.
And there'll be more this time with the new system.
That's right.
Because before you could, if you went into the booth, you could spin the wheel, so to speak, and spell the word out.
Yeah.
But the handwritten ones are difficult. Having sat there for 12 years, it's difficult sometimes to discern what they're writing.
And I can attest, I have terrible handwriting. I would not be.
We knew yours. We just said, that's Jordan.
That's Jordan, okay.
So when we talk about the Democrat side here, this is the one that we're thinking is a little contested here. It seems the overall theme, at least with voters, and you don't know how reliable social media is when you look at comments and you see people, but the reassessment seems to be the biggest theme here. What do you think that impact was, Terry?
The reassessment, there is a very strong segment of Blair County that was dissatisfied with the results, and they have banded together to put together a very significant campaign against the incumbents or anybody related or associated with that campaign. That's why you see the social media right now with, up until today, obviously, significant criticism of Commissioner Beam and some talk of the supporters of Amy Webster to vote for Laura Burke to make sure that Commissioner Beam doesn't get on. So it's going to be interesting to watch. You know, you have the entrenched incumbent who's been around for decades, and you have this element. Is there going to be support for Laura Burke that will push her over and get her that seat?
Exactly. And Jack, I wanted to see your thoughts on this. The use of social media. You know, in big national elections, state elections, that's becoming bigger, but it's still kind of slowly creeping into local elections. Are we going to continue to see, as you know, maybe the politicians maybe get younger on the younger side, we might see more and more of social media playing a role?
I think social media play a very vital role in campaigns, in elections. I think we're going to see it play more of a role. I mean, we're on social media right now, right? And so, you know, I think everybody is going to be going to those platforms.
And they'll have proof that it works because it worked in the primary.
Because it worked.
I mean, there was a strong issue, but they got their message out significantly on social media and continued it day to day over the election period. If it works, people are going to do it. Other groups, other candidates are going to use it.
That's right.
I think they want me to bring up the Clearfield County District Attorney's race. I'm not sure. Do we have results for that? Or okay, we don't have results for that, but we do have William Shaw and Ryan Sayers vying for those seats. Again, question for you guys. When it comes to district attorneys, does Democrat, Republican, make any impact when people are deciding something like that? Does the party affiliation really matter when it comes to a position like that, do you think?
It does in Huntington County.
Okay.
I can tell you that, yeah.
Whatever.
It's important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Doctor. It is very important. And it all depends on what your county makeup is. If it's a Democrat county, they're going to be favored. If it's a Republican, they're going to be favored.
That's right.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, I just think that's interesting because we also see races when it comes to like coroner and some of these other positions where it's like, is there really any politics in some of it? Sometimes it's just local politics.
There really
at
isn't
play.
even politics when you get to the commissioner's level. We're not talking gun rights and
Exactly.
abortion rights and socialism. You're talking about the best way to run the government, but it still comes down to where you get your support and its place
Exactly.
for it. I want to point out one thing in that Clearfield race.
Sure.
Mr. Shaw advertised twice in the Altoona Mirror. I saw it in the last 2 days. Didn't
Interesting.
say what county he was from.
Well, I think
I
that's
sat there and said, what kind of ad is that?
No.
that's pretty important to kind of specify.
I said, who is this fellow? He's running for district attorney. I couldn't tell what county he was running from.
Yeah.
Ads in the Altoona Mirror.
And the Altoona Mirror, do they get papers up in Clearfield County?
I'm sure they do.
No, I'm sure
Okay.
they do. Yeah.
The other thing we want to check in, another commissioner's race, we want to go to the Bedford County Commissioners, and you can see there we have Barry DeLara and Josh Lang, who are the incumbents there, with Candy Bassard and Deb Bauman running on the Democrat side. I can say, I don't know if you guys can weigh in or not on this, I'd assume incumbents are probably safe in Bedford County, you'd say?
I haven't stayed attuned to it, but I would think they would be. The two that are there, I think, will be in pretty good shape.
Because obviously Commissioner Lang is the chairman there in Bedford County. But it would be definitely interesting to see how that changes for those three seats. I mean, there's 3 seats there. See who takes that other seat.
There's 3 seats. Everybody says there's minority representation guaranteed by the Pennsylvania law. It's not true. It's just set up that it works that way.
It just works that
because you
way.
can vote for 2, but you elect 3. That pretty much guarantees that 3rd spot. But that's really a vestige of old time when the commissioners were really caretaker government.
Exactly.
The real reason for that is, the primary reason for that is to make sure you had bipartisan representation on the Board of Elections. I'm a big supporter of home rule.
Yes.
And that's where that comes from. I hear the argument, well, we got to have one Democrat or one Republican. There's no other race in America that requires a certain party to be on to be elected.
Yeah.
That was really to make sure that the Board of Elections has both parties represented. And that can be done in a number of other ways through appointments, et cetera. That's my plug for home rule, folks.
That's your plug.
Okay.
We'll be back on that next week.
I have a feeling that'll come up a couple
You
of
can rest
times.
assured the election's over. It's coming up.
Yeah, we do want to remind you folks, we do have a group of people here working over here to the right of us, tallying in the results as they come in. Hard at work over there. We fueled them with pizza and soda so that they can stay up all night and get those results in as they come in. That's how we're operating as well here.
Oh, that's right.
If we do too much, then we won't be talking too well.
But folks, make sure you stay tuned here on WTAJplus.com as we come every half hour to give you updates as results. I think we'll have some results maybe at 9 o'clock to talk about, but we'll see you then right here on WTAJplus.com.